There's a ministry right now.
Okay, I think I got it. Yes. Relax, love. It's okay. I fed him. He's smiling. I'm just happy you could stay on the call for this long. I hope I haven't finished your airtime.
Well, good.
Enjoy a woof that makes sense with MTN A Woof for you. Dial *888 recharge pin hash for 6 times the bonus on your next recharge. You can also use the Momo or the My MTN NG app to recharge. Terms and conditions apply. What are we doing today?
Welcome back to Signals on 91.3. This morning we're discussing hospitality and management. Well, I have with me, with a stellar record spanning over 2 decades, she has consistently delivered excellence, shaping the success of startups and established businesses alike. Certified as a customer experience professional by the Institute of Service in the US, her commitment to exceptional service is unwavering. She impacts her knowledge as a faculty member at the Rome Business School, Lagos, and as a guest trainer at Wavecrest School of Hospitality. Her insights have graced numerous hospitality and business conferences. Beyond her professional endeavors, she's the visionary behind the Tribe of Adasa, the vibrant community that empowers women to fulfill their destinies and impact lives. Well, also a distinguished hospitality and customer experience consultant, blending her expertise in finance with passion for hospitality and empowering women. I have with me, let me on all the mics to be sure that we're good. I have with me Funke Olusoga Ogunlade. Welcome to Signals.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Adewunmi.
Yes, we're going straight to the conversation. Hospitality and management. First and foremost, is there money in hospitality and management? First,
there is money.
Okay.
If you do it right, there's money.
Okay.
But you can also lose a lot of money, so you have to know what you're doing.
Okay, let's go back to what we should do right. How do we do it right?
So starting from that, I think that when you want to start a hospitality business, it goes beyond just having passion for hospitality. You have to look at the business side of it. What do your customers want? What will satisfy them? What are they willing to pay for? So it's much more than you having a passion or desire to cook, set up a hotel, and all of those things. It's much more than that. So business side of it is really important. And if you can get that right, then the business can do well.
We have so many. Oh, wait. Before we go into the nitty-gritty, I saw finance. I'm like, there must be money. Now, what is hospitality? What is management together?
Okay. Putting it together, first of all, you talked about finance. I have a background in banking and finance. That's actually where my first degree, and I'm also a chartered banker. So, with that experience and that knowledge, it has helped me help a lot of hospitality businesses over the years, because you can't do hospitality without knowing your finance, your money. Where's the money going? Where's the money coming from? So the question is hospitality and management. Like every business, you've got to understand what you need and execute properly. And the only way to execute properly is to manage resources, both human and material resources. So that's why management is important in hospitality. And hospitality is in different levels. So you have from the bookers to the fast food restaurants to the exotic resorts. You have even airlines. So hospitality is wide, you know. So depending on the level at which you are going in, the level of management would also be important. Let me just use this as an example before we go to the next question. If you are running a booker, for example, your operations manager in a booker cannot have the qualifications of an exotic resort. And that's part of the problems that we're having. So you're thinking, it's hospitality, it's a restaurant. All I have to do is pay 100,000 naira to an operations person and I'm good. So all of those things are important. You need to know what business you're doing, the kind of clients you're selling to, and that would help you know what you need for your management. So, you know, it's really wide.
It's right, booker. Our roadside booker. Now, some say that the dirtier a place is, the better their food is. I was going to go there.
Not true.
Okay, explain. Because sometimes you say, oh, you are going to an amala joint, and if it's not dirty, the waitresses, is it waiter? Waiters and waitresses are not rude. You will not get the best, and it's it baffles me.
So this is such an interesting question. The other day I was at a training and I was explaining to them the concept of customer experience and the concept of perception. Now, every experience the customer has is based on the perception of the customer.
Okay.
So one of the things I always say is that we need to start reshaping perception and expectation. So let me give you an example. You can go into a store and the person attending to you feels like they are doing you a favor. Right? So you get a situation where you're having to say, please attend to me, please help me. And they say, wait, I'm busy, very rudely and all of that. And we take it. We take it as the customers and we think, well, we don't have a choice. You do have a choice. You can walk out of that place and go find somewhere else, So customer experience is very interesting, So it's about perception. Now you use an example of the dirtier the place, the sweeter the food. It's a perception. And we need to start to correct those perceptions, which we're doing, already in the industry. And I'll shout out to also Lagos State. I mean, the environmental people will go and check your kitchens. So
you have to go there.
Yes. So for all the people, for example, all the places I've set up, the people I've consulted for, your kitchen has to be completely spotless. I cannot even it's so important. You have days where you strip everything down and scrub from top to bottom. Literally scrub the walls and the tiles and all of that. Because it's important. What you're selling to people can easily get food poisoning. It's just that, Nigeria, we're very...
lackadaisical.
Exactly. And very, things
we don't care.
Yes. Because other parts of the world, if people get food poisoning from your organization, you can shut it down. And so it's really important to note that... perception needs to start to be changed.
So it means that it is wrong for us to say the dirtier.
Oh, it's wrong. It's so wrong. But I feel also that it's expectation. So let me also give you an example of this perception.
Okay.
There's also a thought that if it's not so clean, it shouldn't be so expensive. And that's the truth. If I take my time to clean your kitchen and you come in and it's spotless. I mean, there's a restaurant that I manage in Lekki. If you go into the kitchen, you can sit there and eat. It's that clean. I expect to pay premium for that. But if I go and the booker is by the gutter, I know that I'm not paying a lot of money. So it's all about perception. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, what do you want? What's the value that you as a customer also want? So that's what I would say. But however, please, let's keep our kitchens tidy. I've heard this a lot of times where people say the kitchen is a mess. But trust me, in organizations now, we're learning in the last maybe 10 years, hospitality in Nigeria has evolved.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're working with a professional consultant like me, and there are many of us, there are some things we will not tolerate. There are some things we will not allow to pass. Some things need to be standard in your kitchen, which includes the level of cleanliness.
Okay, so level of cleanliness. Tell us some basics that you expect to see when you get into a kitchen.
Okay, so for example, a proper industrial kitchen of a restaurant shouldn't have wooden cabinets. Like I go into build some kitchens and I'm meant to consult for you and you've already set up your kitchen and you've put wooden cabinets like it's your house. So ideally you should have metal stainless steel cabinets that can easily be wiped down with nothing under. So there's no rodents or cockroach that can be running under. You know what I mean? There's none of those things. There's no ants. What are these things called? Soldier ants eating your wood and all of those things. And you can clean the corners, right? Okay. So everything needs to have that look of professionalism. I've seen people who convert spaces, and by converting spaces, they are leaving their kitchen the way it was No, strip everything down, put your tiles, and make sure you're using white tiles that can be cleaned.
White tiles? That
can be cleaned. Why? I need to come because it shows that the place is clean. Also, it's not what we're talking about today, but
let's go there.
So there's a course that I did which is called Psychology of Colors as well. Okay. Now, if I come into your kitchen and your tiles are brown, there's something that happens in my mind to tell me that kitchen is not as clean as it should be. But if I walk into your kitchen and I see white tiles everywhere, there's a perception in my head that it's clean, because if I go and I see white tiles and there's no stain on the white tiles, I know that what you're doing is clean. Little wonder hospitals wear white because they want you to know that when you come here, it's purity, it's pure, it's clean. We're not taking any chances. There's a reason why those colors are
very important.
Yeah, so that's why white is important in a kitchen.
You've touched on the premium. Let's go back to the roadside. Now, I'm saying roadside because, again, if you look at there's inflation. The pockets, everybody's just eating to survive, right? And let's just say, with my 5,000 naira, what kind of food, what kind of experience should I get, right? How do we begin to retrain our bookers? Because guess what? before the premium will get food poisoning, we all of us are at the mid level. I already have it because I don't have money to go to all of those places.
Yeah.
And then what would you see? And I'm sure that you've experienced some of them when you go to all of these bookers, roadside bookers. What do you see that they have that the premium doesn't have? What are the checks and balances that you're seeing?
What they have, to be honest, is cheap food.
Okay.
It's cheap, affordable, accessible food. I don't need to come in dressed in a certain way. I can just come with my bowl, take my food, quick service, and I'm out of there. I don't even need to sit there to eat the food, right? I can send somebody, all of those things. So, like I always say, every business has the people that it caters to, right? And so when you have those roadside bookers and those kind of food outlets, they have their customers. They do have their customers. And guess what? Like I said, the perception of the customer is what gives you customer satisfaction. Those customers are satisfied. You are the one thinking food poisoning. You are the one thinking the place is dirty. They are satisfied. They don't want anything more. Exactly. They don't want anything more. It's just like you saying you are going to a fine dining and you get in there and the air conditioning is not working.
I see.
So your perception already is, I am unsatisfied. I'm not satisfied with the condition here. Why? Why are you feeling like that? And you don't feel like that on the roadside. On the roadside itself, if you see
less
AC,
expectation.
If you see AC, you are thinking
This
food. I'm sure they've added money to their food.
Or the food is not sweet.
Or the food is not nice. Do you understand? So it's all about the perception. And everybody have your niche and stay there. You can't be roadside and try to be premium. And you can't be premium and try to be roadside. Because you can't be everything to everybody. So once you have your niche, stay there and make sure that you just keep elevating the experience for the people. And make sure that what you're doing is meeting the expectation of those people so that they are satisfied.
Okay. A signals on 91.3. We're discussing hospitality and management with Funke Olusoga, Ogunlade. If you have WhatsApp, we can take WhatsApp. WhatsApp messages is 0809 234 5913. 0809 234 5913. Now, looking at the hospitality industry, then and now, what has changed?
A whole lot has changed. So when I was getting into hospitality, it wasn't popular.
Like 20 years ago and now.
Yeah, so like I explained to you, I had a banking and finance background. And it was so bad that when I was working, the first restaurant I was working in, some people came to eat. You know how you just hear your customers talking as you were passing? And, one of them said, this Funke, is it that she didn't go to school? Because I don't understand what she's doing here. Is it that she can't get a better job?
Wow.
At this time, I was already a chartered banker. Right? So for them, they couldn't understand that hospitality could be a career or that there could be progression there. It just felt like a business that people do
by the side,
or I can't find a job and so I'll rather do this, right?
Yeah.
But it has changed. People are picking it now as a career and doing well at it as well because they've also seen it expand. I mean, hotels, people are taking
franchises,
international franchises and all of that. So it's becoming bigger and people are seeing that there's actually a future here. I just wish that, even our government could take it more seriously and see that there's so much opportunity and potential there, apart from oil and agriculture. If they could just look at hospitality and tourism, there's so much opportunity there.
But what would you like to see? What would you like to see change drastically?
So some of the things, for example, is a bit more leniency when it comes to things like taxes and things like that. So, for example, hotels and restaurants now are having to pay consumption tax.
Yes,
VAT, this, that. I mean, let's be lenient. Let people be able to thrive in these things. Do you know how many jobs hospitality businesses give our people? Every restaurant that you see, every average restaurant you see on the island here has about 20 staff that are either wait staff, kitchen assistant, not professional. I'm talking maybe a bar back and all of that. And they're taking these people off the streets for us. Can we just have a bit more compassion on those businesses? Because we are doing a lot. And sometimes it just comes and hammer, a lot of restaurants now where you go, there are stickers everywhere. You are owing Lagos State. It's a lot.
Nigerian government, we are pleading reduce the tax. But there was a time that I think I saw it online. But now that you've mentioned it, which one is consumption tax? I'm eating. I have to pay for the food.
To pay. So it's more like it's what we can call a premium tax. So the government put it there to say, if you are able to eat in a place like this or sleep in a place like this, then it means you are premium and then you should pay a tax. Do you understand that? So it's not really the business, it's the customer that pays the tax. However, like I always argue this, it's also difficult for the business to
recoup it.
Yes, because you have to then increase your price to make them pay for that. In fact, a lot of times now I tell my clients, when you are doing your bills, hide your consumption in the bill. Hide everything in the bill, because as a client, I don't want to see those taxes.
No, I don't. I don't,
Yeah.
because it means that you are paying me to eat food that I'm paying you for.
Literally.
Then there's consumption, there is VAT, there's so many.
There's a lot. So local government will come and get theirs. The state government comes to get theirs. The federal government comes to get theirs. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
Yeah. So you don't want to see consumption tax. What other things don't you want to see in the industry?
So in the industry as well, I think that we should treat our staff better. So the hospitality industry is very interesting because it's easy entry. So what that means is that anybody can start and anybody can work in the hospitality industry. But this is what I always say. It becomes obvious because the client's experience, the client does not care whether you have training as a waiter, the client does not care whether you go to a hospitality school, client wants experience. So if you can spend more time to train our staff, spend more time to support them, encourage them, treat them well.
Wow.
You know, sometimes I go to, as a consultant, there are some things you have to have in place before I work with you. Typical example is you must have a staff layover. Where do they sleep when they work till late?
Oh.
You send them on the streets. And I kid you not, some business owners are that callous. Like you close at 12 o'clock and
Send them to go.
you ask them to go. They've closed for the day. So little things like layover, little things like
No, don't. If you're saying layover, it's still very posh. If you Thomas, it's like the house in the
where do
apartment.
they stay? Exactly. It could be a small BQ behind your establishment. Give them a place to put their head, rest, and then go home the next day. You know, and sometimes we overwork them. It's a very strenuous industry. You have people standing on their feet for hours on end, and that's what service is all about. It's like I always say that you compare waiters to people that work in the military. If you are supposed to be standing, you are standing at attention, looking at what the customer, and it's such a service that has a spirit behind it, because if you don't have the spirit of hospitality, you can't do it excellently. You'll feel cheated, you will feel used, you will feel insulted.
Oh.
There's so many things that come with it. So it's a spirit of humility and hospitality
At the
all
same
together.
time.
Yeah, to say I'm here for a job. I'm here to deliver excellent service. I'm here to give this person the best experience that I can. It takes you having that in your mind to then be able to deliver. Otherwise, you just feel like it's not worth it. And that's why they give, pardon my French, shitty
allowances.
experiences to the customer, because they can't be bothered. I'm tired. I don't feel like being here. You know, that's the feedback you get from them. Why are you coming to disturb my shift? I mean, you see people that their shift is over and you're working as a guest and you're saying, oh, can I see your menu? And they're telling you, my shift is over. I'm done. Let me call the next person. They don't want to be there. You can tell. Wow. They don't understand the spirit of hospitality. So, you know, it's a very interesting.
Now this boils down to when we see waiters who are attending to us when we go to for all of our fine dinings, and they do like that. What's expected of the customer? Because sometimes they say customer is king. But what is expected of somebody who's coming into the establishment, sees somebody who's tired, and is able to show empathy, even though everybody is having a bad day?
Well, I always say that to be treated well, you have to treat others well. And so as customers too, it's just that on this side of what we do, we talk more to the people working, we talk more to the waiters and all of that, and not really to the customers.
Let's speak to the customers.
I'd like to say that these people are human beings as well. They are working to serve you. They are working to make sure that things go well. Please treat them well. Give them a good tip. Smile at them. Don't bring all your burden and all the stress that you've been through that day. Come and dump it on a waiter. They are taking a lot already. So be a good customer as well. Be a good customer. To get good service, I always say this. I'll say to get good service, also be a good customer. Once you're a good customer, trust me, the service you will get that day. But the problem is that you're already coming in frowning. You're already coming in with an expectation to be upset by what the waiter does. You're already coming in with a hey, I'm sure your drink will not be cold. I'm sure you're already coming in with all that energy, and you expect great service. please, our dear customers, we want you to be nice to us when you come into our establishment. We want you to treat us with respect. I mean, I've had situations where customers are slapping waiters, they are pulling them by the shirt, they're being rude to them. Some don't pay. They can say, "Oh, I didn't pay because you brought it 20 minutes late." They finish eating the food and they don't pay. They put a lot of weight. Yes, they put waiters through so much. Through so much, honestly. So please, let's treat these people with so much respect. And what you don't know is that when you don't pay for that drink and you don't pay for that meal, this waiter pays for it. Okay. Because in a proper kitchen, everything has been portioned and everything has to be accounted for. So when you enter a restaurant and the waiter has upset you and you say because they brought food late, you eat half of it, you go, you don't pay, that waiter pays for the food most times. That drink that you took a sip and said, it's not strong enough, or you did not do what I wanted, and you dump it and you don't pay for it, the waiter pays for that drink. He pays for that cocktail. Imagine a waiter earning 60,000 naira and a cocktail of 12,000 naira has been wasted. 60,000 minus 12,000 is a big deal for that waiter. And these are the things this is the reality of the hospitality industry. And that's why those waiters are bitter and they are angry. Because, and again, it's not the establishment's fault. Somebody needs to pay for it. And all the time is the waiter's word against the customer. So, who are you going to pick at that point? Who is paying the salary? So the waiter is always usually the one at the wrong. But I always say this as well to business owners. Please, understand that you have two types of customers. You have your internal customers and you have your external customers. The way you treat the internal customers determine how they treat the external customers. So your internal customers are your staff. How are they being treated? Are they also happy? Is their experience also good? Is your environment not toxic? Because hospitality industry toxicity is like a big deal now. People come to work and they're afraid. So if you can eliminate all of that, you will see that the customer experience will also be different because they are having a great experience. The customer, they will transfer it definitely to the customer, and the customer will also have a great experience.
Now, let's speak a little bit about, it's shocking. It's shocking when you say toxic, because we're in the era of toxic and mental health. But let's look at well done. Let's look at remuneration.
Okay.
If you're saying 60,000 naira, what's the average pay of a waiter? And I know that they're in levels, right? But the average pay, because you also talked about we getting people off the street because they're easy. If you want to serve, if you need service boys, you can call. They wear their uniform, however rough it is.
Yeah.
And then they get it. So tell us a bit about the remuneration.
So to be fair and to be honest,
I'm getting you there.
Hospitality staff are not well paid. I try my best. If I have clients that listen, I really do try my best. And here is the worry. So I'm somewhat in between because I'm there for the staff and I'm also there for the owners. Now, here's the thing. The owners are worried that
where would you get money from? Is
the business even going to do enough to be able to pay you? That's one. Secondly, they're also worried that you will leave because staff are also not loyal. So what happens is that they've invested so much in you, but the next hotel opens up down
you go there
and you've gone because they've offered you 5,000 naira more. That's bad. 5,000 naira will make the waiter or a housekeeper leave. That you have trained, that you have endured their rubbish and nonsense for 5 years. They would leave for 5,000 naira. They would leave. So in terms of that, I know that it might be difficult, but here are some of the things that I always encourage. How about a yearly bonus, a quarterly bonus? So don't fix it on, if I can't pay you, then that's it. Let me pay what I'm able to pay. I understand that. But if the business begins to do well, can you give them a bonus? Can you show them? So let me give you a typical example. If the hotel, for example, is earning, if maybe you have a benchmark of we need to earn 10 million every month, but here's what we are going to do. If we earn 12 million, we're going to share 500,000 for everybody this quarter.
Okay.
Those staff will be happy. They know that they need to put in the extra work. They know that they have to make sure that the money comes in. But here's the thing as well. A study shows, in fact, I checked it this morning on my way here. Study shows that 30% of your revenue as a restaurant or a hotel should go to salaries. 30%. How many Nigerians are willing to give up to 30% of revenue? Not income, revenue. How many? So this is what we're talking about. People want to pay peanuts, but you don't want monkey for workers.
So let's even let me play a little bit of devil's advocate. Where we're not paying more, right? Can we feed them? Because I don't know the restaurant I went to that they were complaining that they couldn't eat the food that was being prepared, right? And they have to go outside to go and buy food. And I was wondering, but you cannot be suffering.
So again, I'm in the middle. Now think about it. To create, maybe you have a meal of 40,000 naira.
Yeah.
To make that meal will cost you 15,000 naira. Is that what you're going to be feeding your staff every day? Now let's start from that, because you know why this is interesting to me, because I still had a meeting with a client 2 days ago about feeding his staff in the hotel, and we went back and forth, and we ended up with, you know what, give them cash every week, or give them cash every week, because it's a boutique hotel, because it will come down on your gas, on your facility. While they're supposed to be making food for that your small hotel of about 20 rooms, they're busy saying we are doing staff food. They're busy saying, are you going to employ more people for the kitchen? So find a way to balance these things. Just make sure your staff know that you care for them and that it's a big deal. Because again, it's not all industries that feed their staff. I don't know if you get what I mean. It's not all industries that feed their staff.
This is quite interesting. You know why I'm
yeah.
Because they're the ones feeding your customers. God forbid we talk about food poisoning and I don't know where I got that from, but I know
that they try to. So again, that's what I'm saying. A bitter or toxic staff is the one that will be thinking, how do I jeopardize this business? A staff that is happy. Let me tell you, see, I ran my own restaurant for about 7-8 years. There were times when I would delay salary and my staff would be working. You'll be wondering, where's the passion from? It's because of how I treat them when there's plenty. Okay, think about it now. Christmas is coming.
Yes.
Some people are not thinking, what will I do for this staff? What they are thinking about is, we have to spend millions on decoration. We have to, put something out there on social media. We have to create a menu for Christmas.
And the internal,
about your internal customers. Have you thought about the fact that things are really difficult? What can we do to help them this Christmas? I can't even see. I was thinking about it the other day, even for my own stuff. I'm like, how are we going to do half bag of rice this year?
I was thinking about it.
It's not possible. So then, but we have to find something to do. We need to do it. Whatever, if it's cash, whatever we're going to do.
So is there a way where just humor me? Is there a way where staffing are like, okay, you know what? Everybody will take turns in cooking. We buy a gas where everybody, that's our own gas, staff gas, right? And everybody takes turn in cooking in the same place.
So all of these things I've experienced. I mean, I've done this for almost 20 years. See, it disturbs the flow of your kitchen. No matter, see,
wow.
I don't know another way to explain it. When you start, so what some people do in really big hotels, you have the people that cook for staff.
Okay.
They have their section. They have their timing. They don't disturb anything. In fact, in some really big hotels, they have a separate kitchen. So they don't disturb your flow. But I'm talking in like a small boutique hotel now. You have only this Kokolo kitchen that is attending to everybody. All the rooms and the restaurants. And then the staff are there saying, no, I want to go. Oh, no, it's staff meal. And let me tell you something. They will prioritize their meal over your... And that's just them being,
humans, right? Yeah. And this is a lot. So we're still within that hospitality space. Let's look at events. There's this thing that when you go for, I saw it yesterday, if you want more food on your table, tell the event planner that you want food, but then they give them...
You tip the waiter.
You tip the waiter, you collect the event planner's number, and so that there's more food on your table.
So again, people are just being human. So I'll tell you something. So this happens a lot in restaurants where there are some customers they know that tip really good. Now, when those customers come in, they scramble to go and serve those customers. And they will give them the best service ever. Guess what? These waiters also know the very stingy customers. Those customers will say, I'm removing 5,000 because you brought the food out. So they run. So you see situations where somebody is telling you, ma, I can't go and serve that table because, it's going to be a headache.
Now, is tipping important?
It's a good thing. Now, I remember consulting for a client last year, and he was very big on not receiving tips because he didn't want them to he wanted them to be content, and he wanted them to know that he would look after them, which is doing excellently well, right? It's a hotel in Via. He's doing really well for his staff. But this is the thing. In other parts of the world, tips, a lot of times, is more than your salary. Because in America, for example, there's a standard rule. It's not written anywhere.
But it's compulsory.
10%. Now, imagine you can go home with as much as $200 every day. when in fact your salary at the end of the month is maybe $100
or 50.
So here's the thing: tipping is actually it's a industry of service, and the better you do at the service, the more you're supposed to get. That's literally, because there's no other way to measure it. The only way we can measure it is the experience of the customers, and the only way a customer will show you that I'm happy is when they drop. Do you understand? And commendation to your manager and all of those things. But what you will really see is that 500, that extra 1,000, 2,000, and the staff even. So another thing is, there is job satisfaction with the staff when he's tipped. That's what I've noticed. You know, there's some places where you go and the staff has been there for years, and you're wondering, you don't want to, because I poach as well sometimes. Like if I'm looking for staff for another, I will go to a place where they're not treating them well. I'm sorry, I apologize. No. And I go to where they're not treating you well, and I say, come, I found a place where they're paying you triple.
Come to promised land.
Come there. But here's the thing, they'll tell you things like, well, I have some customers that I cannot leave. It's not, they're not even doing this now because of the business.
Themselves.
They're doing it because of those customers. Because those customers, some of them have paid their school fees. Some of them have helped their children in the hospital. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I've had those sort of relationships. I used to work in, I remember my first job, you know, in the restaurant. The first set of gold sets that I had, it was a customer that gave it to me. I planned her husband's 40th birthday. I won't forget. Husband's 40th birthday. She was so happy with the turn of events. She came and gave me this massive
gold set.
Listen, I could not believe it. But these are the things that people enjoy in hospitality, because you have, you know, I always say this: hospitality is not we're serving food, we're selling rooms. You are selling an experience. It's all about how does the person feel when they've left your presence. Is this something they continue to crave, to want to go back to? You know, that sort of thing. So it's really important that we encourage our staff to give great experience and give them good experience as well working with you.
Experience on both sides. Now back to tipping. There's some organizations that when you go, because I have that when I go, I'm like, okay, so take, and they're like, no, we don't take.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, okay, that's new. But for some other people, it's like if you don't tip them, they start to give you attitude.
Yeah. So there's so many things around it. So for example, I've seen some that would say, put all the tips together and share it.
Yeah, I like to do that.
So that one is a good one, because then that encourages teamwork.
Yes, and they look out for one another.
So you look out for one another, and you can curtail things like maybe customer paying and them not remitting the money. Because all the money, you shouldn't have money with you at any time. Everything should go into the tip box. Right? And there are just ways to balance this thing. Yeah.
In Signals on 91.3, we're discussing hospitality and management with Funke Olusoga Ogunlade. If you have questions, comments, send us a WhatsApp message. I'd love to hear from you. 0809 234 5913. Now, let's talk a little bit about experience. The experience from the customer and experience from the waiters, because again, the staff, because they're the first point of call of any business. What kind of experience would you say that would Funke say? Now let me use Funke. Would Funke say that this is top notch on both sides?
Where your staff are happy to work, they're happy to come to work every day. It's not toxic. I always say this when I'm training. I'll say, you spend most of your life in your workplace.
Sure.
Most of your hours, if you think about it.
Very true.
Most of it. So do you want to come to a place where it is always toxic, you're afraid, you're working on
eggshells? Not come to work.
And some of them cannot say they're not coming to work because that's where they eat from. You know?
True.
So it's a lot. So you need to make sure that your staff are happy to work. Then when they are happy to work, trust me 100%. I've seen this, I've done that, I've worn the t-shirts. They translate that experience to your customers. I say it over and over again. Happy staff, happy customers. There's so much, it's so corresponding that you can't take it out of the mix. If your staff are not happy, they translate it.
Transfer of aggression.
Transfer it to your customers. No matter how many things you say, or how many, or the sort of train. There are places I go to that they ask me to come and train, and when I do an assessment of the environment, I don't train, because what they need is to fix their culture. It's toxic. That's why they're not getting the results.
Babe,
do you understand?
Babe, so I'm calling you, sorry. You've constantly said toxic. What is toxic for you?
Okay, it's very big in the industry. Very big. And then one of the interesting things is that, and I will have to call out this because it happens a lot, is that we bring a lot of expatriates as well.
Yeah.
into our industry, and they treat our people like trash. Everywhere I go to consult, if you are working with the expatriates, I want to talk to them. I train them. Some of them feel like, where's she coming from? I train you on how to treat our staff, because they don't see them as humans. They see them a lot of times as, just people for menial service. And you need to learn to treat people as human beings. So one of the things is the toxicity comes from leadership a lot of times. I always say this: when people can snitch to you, can come and run down somebody with you, or you are there running the owners down as the manager. So you are the general manager, you come into the office, you are telling the chef, don't mind that guy, he's your owner, he's the one paying salaries, and you think that the situation will not be toxic. It will be toxic. How do you then fire as well? So little things like one mistake, you're saying, get out of my restaurant, get out of my hotel. You walk them out. Security don't allow him coming again. Why? There needs to be a process. Have you gone through the process? I know some people will listen and say, what is she talking about? These people, they are unruly, you don't understand. It's because of how you treat them. Nobody is an animal. Right?
Okay.
It's how you treat them.
But sometimes you treat people well and they still mess up.
So if you have a system in place, you can fish out the bad eggs. In fact, I always say this: if you set your culture right, the bad eggs will drop by themselves. If your culture is so right, they won't fit it. You just see that they're uncomfortable, they will resign. Or you will catch them doing something that will get them fired. You just make sure you're building a right culture. One of the things I always say, for example, is do a lot of hidden rebuke and open commendation. What does that mean? If a staff does well, don't call him to the office and say, well done, that thing you did and well done. No, call a staff meeting. Commend that staff. Well done. Clap for him. Everybody give him a round of applause. Do that. Give him a hug. You might not give him money, but you give him an experience to show that this thing that I'm doing. Yes. On the other hand, he's done something wrong, call him to your office. Shout all the shout you want to. It's only him now. Shout all the shout you want to shout. Write him warning letter, but let it be hidden rebuke. Then if he does not listen or he does something, so when I say hidden rebuke, maybe he was rude to a customer and all that, but somebody steals, please open rebuke. As he's stealing and he's caught like this, please call police. Maybe they hand thieves over to the police to teach a lesson. So I'm talking about behavior, attitude, and character, not grievous things like stealing or fighting or all of those things. No, those ones outright sacking, and you can do it in front of other people so that they set an example. But little things like, you were rude this morning, come here. What happened? I don't want to see this attitude again. Is there anything we can do to make your work better? Have those conversations. You'll be surprised. They're not animals. I say this all the time. And the ones that will not listen, flush them out of the system the proper way. Do warning letters. To one strike, two strike, three. You even be laughing with them and crying with them. Hey, yeah, you know we can't work here anymore. I know. Here's your letter of termination.
I'm how you're going to send somebody away. I'm just picturing it.
Your letter of termination. We can't do this anymore. The energy is not, so thank you very much. I will find another job for you if I can, but you can't work here anymore. And let them go. Why embarrass people? Why shout? Why scream? Why slap them? Why hit them?
Why hit them? Well, WhatsApp is saying, somebody's saying, how can I get your guest private number? Wait, she's coming first. She's coming. Well, another person is saying, hospitality business is not easy. I have worked with a couple and staff welfare is such an issue.
Big issue.
Turnover is high. Salary deductions are too many for the long hours spent. How can owners balance staff welfare? Ima from Lagos.
Love it, Ima. This is what we fight every day. I gave you an example. A meal is returned. They will debit. In fact, that's the word we use in the industry. I will debit you. I will debit you. And it's and it's done automatically. Because there has to be accountability for that item. Unless you are not doing a structured business. If you are doing a structured business, somebody has got to pay for it.
Okay, so is there a way that, and because it's your industry, is there a way that some of these bills, instead of deducting it from the staff's money, they fall under miscellaneous?
No, there will be too many miscellaneous. So you see, that's why I told you that I am in the middle.
Yeah.
I've seen these things both ways. When you are pushing it under the rug, trust me. See, people are typical human behavior. Is like, let me try. Let me see.
I will tell you first.
Exactly. So if you're just leaving everything, one day you come into a restaurant that is empty because they'll keep telling you it's miscellaneous, and they'll behave anyhow. So this debiting, not to say it's a good thing, but I understand why owners do it. I really do understand. What you can then do is put a system in place where the management is able to vet the situation before you do the debiting. Was it truly the customer's fault or the staff's fault? and then try and do like an assessment before you do the automatic debiting.
So look at it this way: on a scale of on Funke's scale, right? Even I am now on Funke's scale. What will be how much debit should be on management and on staff?
That's what I'm saying. If it's the staff that is completely at fault, please go ahead and debit him. I've seen rude staff.
Okay.
That were outrightly rude and customer says I'm not paying, debit their staff.
Okay.
But in a situation where let me tell you, if you work in restaurants, you will see things. Sometimes people come and tell you that the salt is not enough. This is something you have served like 10 people and they were telling you it's amazing.
Oh,
that's fantastic.
That brings me back to a particular restaurant not named, right? So I eat fish and you see that middle of Titus, is it Titus mackerel? Anyway, Nigeria, Titus, that mackerel where there's this black line.
Yeah.
I have seen it so many times. They don't remove it. And for me, some of us are need freaks with food. So let's confess. Right? And I'm like, please help me remove this. And then they brought the same thing again. And I'm like, Oshodi, you know what? Just let it go.
Yeah, so that's it. Quality control. So I always say, I say this again and again. And even when I'm training staff, I always say to them that, listen, one of the basic things about a good customer experience professional is that you are empathetic.
Okay.
If it is me, can I pay for this? If it is me, do I want to see this black thing inside my?
As in, and
it is me.
I have to stop eating at that.
Exactly.
In as much as it's a very favorite,
exactly.
I have to stop.
Exactly. So put yourself, even if you're working in the kitchen, you're working in, a front desk, whatever you're doing, always put yourself in the shoes of the customer. Sympathy and empathy are two different things. Sympathy is, hey, yeah, sorry. Empathy is, if it was me, how would I feel? When you start to look at the customer that way, even your orientation on serving the customer will be different. You've seen somebody who has brought 40k to pay for one meal. Abba, think about your own 40k in your pockets. And when you think about it that way, give the person that service that you will demand if you're paying 40k.
Okay, then Signals on 91.3. We'll be right back. She's still here with me. I'm still going to. We're still going to. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere.
There's a new cuisine in town. A glass of wine, a cup of coffee, and if you're like me, a glass of smoothie. With Signals served on Lagos Talks 91.5 every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Your mind will dream again.
Are we ready?
Yep. Sit down. Just sit down. Don't worry. See if you can put it at the back.
Yeah.
If not, good. So we're back to. Welcome back to Signals on 91.3, and we still have Funke Olusoga with us here, speaking hospitality and management. There's this rise in the short-let apartments. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I love it because I have some clients who own short-let apartments. Now, that's the thing with every industry. There's always disruptions. Disruptions will come. And one of the things with any industry is that you need to start to grow. You need to start to see what is the future. In fact, there's a hotel that we just finished setting up somewhere on the mainland. And what the person has done is merged short-lets with hotel.
Okay.
So what the person has done is he has rooms and he also has apartments. Trying to merge the two, right? And you have a lot of that happening in Dubai as well as some hotels in America where they also have apartments, in the hotel. So it's a disruption in the hospitality industry. My only worry about it is we need to start to structure it, which people are doing now. So you have people who have come to meet people like us to say, how do we structure this thing to give the experience that it should have? But it's not a bad disruption as well. It's like what Uber did, and all of these things. It's not a bad thing. I'm actually happy about it because it gives you a homely feel, but in a hotel kind of
environment.
Way,
Now you have done so well with the tribe of Adasa. Tell us a bit about that.
Oh, Tribe of Adasa is my baby. So it's a group of women that we've come together, Christian women who love God, and we just spend time lifting each other up, praying together, holding each other up in different aspects of life. But one of the things we do as a group of women, we have about 150 of us now, is that we put money together to send children to school. And as we speak, we have about 12 children that and over the years we've watched them. Some of them we started from primary 2 and he's now in GS3, I think. And we have that process, and it's so transparent, and it's it's rewarding, because I always say that the essence of life is, what are you giving? What are you giving? Life, if what you're doing in life is taking, there's just an empty void. But the more you give, the more you just feel, it's like there's a freedom that comes with giving. I don't know how to explain it. And being a blessing to people, right? Where somebody can say, thank God for Oshodi, thank God for Funke, thank God that I met them. When people can say that, it's such a blessing. So we do that, and it's been an amazing journey with my amazing women. Shout out to the tribe of Adasa team.
It's all right. With you teaching, because you've spoken constantly about consulting, what do you think is the next generation for hotel managers, hospitality, people who are coming into the hospitality industry? Because you're training them as
Wavecrest, Rome Business School. I'm a faculty lecturer there.
What have you seen so far in the students that are coming into the industry?
See, I'm loving it.
Good.
And I'll tell you why I'm loving it. And like I said before, when we started in hospitality, it wasn't something to envy at all. People who used to think, why is she doing what she's doing? In fact, I remember going, and I will not mention the name of the bank. I remember going to an I had resumed, and I went to see, if I say this, I'll give it away, so I won't say it. So I went to see the managers that were meant to put us in different departments. And the guy looked at me and said, why are you giving her operations? Put her in marketing. She's a beautiful woman.
Okay.
And I thought about it. I said, So those sort of things just made me say, you know what? As much as I love banking, I think that my calling, my passion, my drive is more towards hospitality. And I started doing it. When I became a consultant, there was nothing like hospitality consultants. In fact, you will go to places, they say, we know what we are doing.
Yes, all our aunties. Do
you understand? My sister, my uncle is the head of operations, my cousin is the one in the kitchen, my nephew is the head of waiters. But now, I'm turning down jobs.
Oh, that's nice.
Now I'm saying, let me refer somebody else to you.
Oh, you're training somebody to take over.
I'm training people. I have a team of people, a team of consultants who work with me. So it's interesting that we're training this next generation to then do things professionally, because that's what we need. We need more professionalism in the industry. Okay,
now speaking of our aunties, how do we tell our aunties that event planning is a different bug?
So you see that event. So again, I want to speak about a bank, but I'll not mention the name of the bank. So they were talking about
the word of the Lord.
They were talking about hospitality, and they brought 5 event planners. There was no hotelier, there was no restaurant, because people are confusing hospitality with just event management.
Okay, so let's quickly break. What is a hotelier? What is a restaurateur? The ER is there. What is a consultant? So let's just break it down.
All the different.
Yes,
so
quickly.
Hospitality is wide. To the point that even logistics business, some part of it is hospitality. So that's how wide hospitality is. Now, what we've now done, or what we now encourage people to do, is that carve your niche, but you're still hospitality, especially when you are doing service. Should I tell you that, in fact, in some cases, we look at places like spas as a hospitality business.
Yes.
Because it's all about experience. Resorts, of course, hotels, restaurants, co-working spaces.
Okay.
Co-working spaces. Why? Because you are talking to customers, you are making sure they are good. You know, so it's such a big
deal.
Industry that are so wide, so whatever part of it that you've decided that you're doing,
do it well.
Just please take on the spirit of hospitality. As I always say, think about the customer first. Customer experience is key. Otherwise, you're not in the business of hospitality.
Wow. So who is a hotelier?
So a hotelier is just somebody who manages, owns a hotel. Restaurateur, the same thing, restaurants. What else? Then you have, so a consultant is just somebody who uses knowledge and experience to help your business. So whether you are starting out a business, please work with a consultant. You are stuck in the middle, you don't know what to do, please work with a consultant. You want to scale your business, please work with a consultant. And I think also the word consultant has been overflogged as well.
Yes, it's not a buzzword.
But I always tell people, how do you gauge who a consultant is? I come to you and I tell you I have 20 years experience. Please listen to me over somebody who has gone to do a master's, for example, and has 1 year work experience and comes back and speaks English, like you would say. because that's what we get, my sister.
Yeah.
Come and they will write big proposal and tell you that they are hospitality consultants, and then they come back to us.
How much is too much to start a hotel business, a restaurant business? How much is too much?
Go as far as you want your experience to be.
Did you just say I should go as far as what?
As you want the experience to be. So if you want luxury experience, for example, go and buy your Spanish tiles. Go and get your rugs from Turkey.
Okay.
Yes. But if you want to do average, normal,
No. Let's not say
go to a quarry and buy your. Yeah. So it depends. So there's nothing too much to spend to create the experience. I've told you, hospitality, what we sell is experience.
And it has to be top
What
notch.
we sell is experience. So depending on the perception you want your customers to have about you, spend that money.
Some say that they may be nice. Some say that the experience you have here and the experience island versus mainland, that nothing. Sometimes you get a very good experience here, and others are you just have money but no experience. What's that about?
So it's not a lie. It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
It's not a lie.
And the reason is, again, back to what we said, perception. There's something about, for example, coming to the island. You just feel that you have to spend more money when you're here. And they are not lying, because the rent here is probably times 3 what you pay on the mainland.
It's not some parts of mainland that are different here.
No, when you say island as well, please, you know island also has name. Don't come and carry me to Awoyaya and tell me you're on the island.
Oh, you can say.
So that's what we're. So I'm talking via Ikoyi, maybe Lekki one, and all of that, as compared to, and of course there are premium places in Ikeja. If you're looking at GRA and all of those places, they're also quite premium because the rent there too is crazy. So perception. If you are in Awoyaya, I don't know why I'm using Awoyaya, and you are in please, even if you use all the luxury in this world to set up your hotel, you cannot charge what you're charging in VI.
So location also matters.
Of course it does matter. And because the perception of even the people coming there. So let me tell you, I'll give you an example. There are some hotels that you enter in VI and they tell you that the room rate is 300,000. Nobody, I repeat, will pay 300,000 to stay in a corridor. No, if you like, put that facility, make it times 3.
So we are being location elitist right now.
No. It's like that all over the world. Interestingly, it's
Wow.
like that all over the world. There are some areas that you have that you know that when you are going there, what you are going to spend, and there are some areas that I can afford this and all of that. So it's a general thing. And like I told you, perception. Every time you think about your customer, think what is the perception they have about me, and that's why I always tell people as well. You can work on the perception they have. You can orientate them on how to think about you. So what is your brand putting out there? What's your service looking like? How do your staff treat the customers? You are there. What you are doing is when they come in, you are changing that perception. You are correcting it. You are the one putting the perception there for them instead of them coming to experience it first. Do you understand what I mean? That's why, for example, what you put out on social media is so important, because people are already forming perception of you.
But here's the thing. In this era of AI, nice pictures, nice everything. When you get there,
You will now see something.
you know it's not-
What are that messages I got? I agree with you. And these are the issues. For example, I say this all the time. When you are doing your adverts, your pictures, please put real pictures of your food.
Okay.
Don't come and give me pictures from the internet.
Then when you not get there,
I'm seeing something else. So for all my clients, for example, when we are doing photo shoots, we do a proper photo shoot of your menu. It will also help your chef know how to plate better. So if he's looking somehow in the picture, we'll tell you, rearrange it. That shrimp has to go on top. That place you've sprinkled the sesame seeds, sprinkle it in a way that it will be showing in the picture. So that when you would start to know this is a better way to plate it. Do you understand?
This is
Rather than, just going to download things from the internet and then sending it to us and saying this is the menu.
and then you cannot replicate.
And then you can't replicate it. Exactly.
Well. Time is not our friend, but thank you very, very much. And to everyone who's listening, one more before we go is, again, back to the people that you are teaching.
Yeah.
What have you seen so far with them coming up?
I've seen interest. People are
Okay.
more interested in knowing these things, doing better, being better, and also doing hospitality professionally. There's a lot of interest now in the industry, and we see because obviously it's growing so much.
It
Before you
is.
drive one way, you've seen one hotel, you've seen one restaurant, you've seen this.
Everywhere is national.
Yeah, exactly. So the interest is there because we see the potential. And it's a rewarding career as well.
Okay.
If you stay there, it's rewarding. You know, my experience wasn't all that rosy when I started. Like I told you, people did consultants for hospitality. It was almost like go and find some work to do. Right.
Okay.
Which interestingly I did. I had to go back into paid employment like once or twice in hospitality.
Yeah, you not come
and then
back now.
definitely. I'm fully. I told you I'm letting down some jobs. There are some jobs that I'm saying no, I can't take this job. We can't add this on.
Please be taking it. You have strength. You have
You know?
capacity to take it.
That's why I'm happy that we are training people now so that we can say you can do it. In fact, there's one of the courses that I'm doing now, which is for hospitality people who want to do hospitality consulting, and it's a 3 months. You're going to be working with me on projects. So it's not just teach you on Zoom. No, you'll be working with me on projects. You will work in recruitment. You will work in operations. You will work in policy setting. You will work in all of that. So that when I'm proud to say we have a lot of consultants that can do this job, because the truth is there are plenty of people who just say consultants, and when they make a mess of the entire thing, you know. So we're happy.